For the 7th time in the past 8 seasons, the Chicago Bears failed to post a winning record in 2020, although they did sneak into the playoffs. Familiar story for the Chicago faithful: solid defense, bad offense, and inept play at the quarterback position. Bears brass also had to take a long look in the mirror, admitting their miss on number 2 overall pick Mitchell Trubisky, which in and of itself was a bitter pill to swallow, considering they traded up for the Tar Heel product in 2017, passing on a transcendent talent in Patrick Mahomes. Their solution? The Red Rifle, a 1-year, $10 million deal with free agent Andy Dalton, immediately anointing him QB1, which again fell flat with the fan base. But then opportunity presented itself early in the NFL draft, when former Ohio State quarterback Justin Fields fell out of the top 10. General Manager Ryan Pace taking a big swing again, trading up for his franchise quarterback.
I expect myself to be a franchise quarterback and one day, hopefully, a top 5 quarterback in this league.
If Fields is who the Bears believe he could be, the selection could be a franchise-changing moment 7 years in the making for the Monsters of the Midway. Long gone are the glory days of Sid Luckman in the 40s, but a new day has dawned on the horizon of Lake Michigan. Will Fields be the answer to the organization's long-standing turnstile at the QB position? For Bears fans in the front office, they certainly hope so. And Fields is one well-versed in the weight of expectation.
Let's welcome in Matt Zahn of WBBM. He is there in Lake Forest, Illinois, just outside of Chicago. All right, let's talk about this quarterback battle we got going on, because I know Andy Dalton has come out and said, look, I'm the starter. I know I'm the starter, but you got Justin Fields there. What do you think happens?
Yeah, so I think Andy Dalton is the starter. All camp long, Matt Nagy, the head coach of the Bears, has said this is not a quarterback battle. Andy Dalton is a starter. Justin Fields will obviously take over at some point. Now, Fields has looked pretty good, I think, so far in camp. We've only had 2 padded practices. Dalton has also looked pretty good. So my guess is this is Dalton's job to start the season at some point, probably sooner rather than later. Justin Fields takes the field. I would guess at least a few games, though, for Dalton as the starting quarterback.
Matt, so you got Andy Dalton, you got Justin Fields. They also still have Nick Foles on this roster, and I know their head coach Frank Reich can speak highly of him, but what's going on with him out there at training camp, and what is going to be his role this season?
Well, so far he's working with the 3rd team. He's a high-paid, highly skilled 3rd-string quarterback. My guess is at some point he does get traded, possibly to the Colts. Of course, that's one of the places he would like to go. He was pretty passionate the other day that he thinks he's playing and he's in better shape than he was when he won the Super Bowl. We'll see about that. Obviously, it didn't work out very well for him when he started games last year for the Bears. But my guess is Nick Foles is not on this roster when the season started. It just doesn't make sense to have him as your number 3 quarterback.
All right, let's talk about the Bears defense, because this is a defense that has been considered one of the best in the NFL. Didn't really live up to that last season, but what can we expect moving forward?
Well, the big thing on defense is they have a new defensive coordinator in Sean Desai. He takes over for Chuck Pagano, who was let go after a couple of seasons. Now, Desai worked under Vic Fangio, who we all know is the head coach of the Broncos. Now, he was in charge when this Bears defense was playing its best. The hope is that Desai can play a more aggressive style, let these guys kind of flourish in their roles and get back to that. Of course, part of the problem is some of the big guys on this defense, Akeem Hicks, Khalil Mack, they're all getting older. They also lost Kyle Fuller at quarterback, so they're going to have some young guys in the secondary. My guess is this defense is very good this year, but maybe not quite up to that elite level they were a few years ago.
Matthew, Bears overall, they went 8-8 this past season. They did make it to the postseason, lost to the Saints in the wild card round. Right now, they're the 3rd favorite to win the NFC North, sitting behind Green Bay and the Vikings. What is your prediction for them this upcoming season?
Yeah, that feels pretty right now. I think the big problem with this team right now is the offensive line. It was a question coming into training camp, and they've had so many injuries. They were down to 9 healthy guys out there today. They didn't even offer 2 offensive line groups. So if that group can't stay healthy, it doesn't really matter who can play quarterback, whether it's Justin Fields or Andy Dalton. My guess is this is a team that hangs around that 8-9, 7-10 kind of range. If everything goes right, maybe they can be a little better than that, but I don't see it right now.
All right, Matt Zahn there outside of Chicago at Bears training camp. Thank you so much for joining us here on CBS Sports HQ. All right, so taking a look at the Bears schedule, they begin week 1 there at the Rams. Now, for the overall season, I mentioned the odds to win the NFC North. They are plus 475, sitting behind the Vikings, and of course the Packers minus 150 to go ahead and win that division. Long shot, if you like them to win the Super Bowl, I don't really know, 50-1 odds.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.